welcome to another episode of the Margin Max Minute. I'm just thrilled that you've decided to spend some time with me today in pursuit of maximizing your margin, optimizing your team, and rescuing your time. Today, I'm excited to discuss the topic of deliberate practice. I'm going to do this within the context of preparation. We all understand as professionals the concept of preparation. It's interesting that most times this is a solo effort, very thought-provoked. It happens in our mind. Sometimes we work with teams, of course, but we are contemplating changes. We are experimenting mostly on paper. The difference that I want you to think about is more active in nature. That's deliberate practice. If you think back to sports teams, maybe your team sport in high school, what percentage of your season or the effort did you actually spend in process, in practice, relative to the game? It's likely it was in the mid to upper 90 percentile, whether or not you were a starting player and depending on your game time, but it was absolutely focused on deliberate practice. The idea of repetition for human beings is not new. This is how we entrench behaviors and abilities, especially in a high stakes environment where we're trying to prevail, win the game, have a great presentation, get that next client. What I want you to think about in preparation, again, it's very cerebral. It's very much in your head, where deliberate practice, I want you to think of moving towards acting. So in preparation, we contemplate change, we design change, we decide what we might want to do about it. In deliberate practice, we actually are biased towards action. It's either solo, and it is very effective if we incorporate peers in our whole department. Certainly the military runs simulations and debriefs. NASA runs simulations and debriefs. Professional sports teams constantly practice, run plays, work for perfection, and ultimately enter a game situation where now it's time to perform. In particular, they work very hard in many circumstances to throw different items at them that might cause failure in the simulation or practice in order to be able to get a result that they're after. Deliberate practice is absolutely essential to being able to move forward in our professional life. I'd like the listener to think about where in your professional life could you practice more. I'm talking about action, not sitting back and thinking through something mentally or visualization. I'm talking about actually going through the motions. Zoom is a nice technique. If you're going to give a presentation or you need to speak to a subordinate about performance issues, maybe your boss about a new initiative you want to get approved. I would highly recommend doing a Zoom meeting, recording it, and then debriefing and working on it over and over. What's interesting about deliberate practice is we are trying to refine and perfect a particular tactical action toward the result. Preparation is different in that we're thinking about all the different things we might do. Deliberate practice really is about focus. And so we might have to do deliberate practice in more of a sequential way when we're trying to get a lot done. Maybe we practice one item and perfect that, then we move on to the next. I hope this has helped you. Deliberate practice is something we all know about, especially if we're high school sports enthusiasts, and we want to make sure to try to bring the positive elements of practice into our professional lives as well. I also hope that you found some actionable advice relative to deliberate practice. Again, I want to thank you for joining me today on another episode of the Margin Max Minute. Again, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. I hope that you have a great week, and it's time to get to work.